What you drink in the first hour after waking up is quietly doing something to your body that your doctor may not have warned you about yet. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way you would notice today or even this month, but something is happening, slowly, silently, and with every sip, that is changing the way your kidneys function after the age of 70. And the most painful part of what I am about to tell you is this: the drinks doing the most damage are probably the ones you trust the most, the ones sitting on your kitchen counter right now, the ones you have been drinking every single morning for years, believing with complete confidence that they were good for you. Emotional setup. There is something deeply personal about a morning routine. You have built yours over decades, the same cup, the same chair, maybe the same window you look out of, while the neighborhood slowly wakes up around you. That first drink of the morning is not just a habit. It is a small, quiet ritual that belongs entirely to you, one of the few parts of the day that still feels completely within your control. Nobody questions it, nobody tells you to change it. It is simply yours. That is exactly why what I am about to share with you is so important to hear today. Because the things we trust the most are the things we examine the least. And after the age of 70, your kidneys, which have been filtering your blood quietly and faithfully for 7 decades, are no longer as resilient as they once were. They do not send loud warnings, they do not ask for help. They simply slow down, struggle, and silently signal in ways that most people do not recognize until the damage is already done. If you have noticed any unexplained tiredness in the mornings, any swelling in your ankles or feet, any changes in how often or how little you visit the bathroom, please do not dismiss what you are about to hear. Credibility bridge. Nephrologists, the doctors who specialize specifically in kidney health, have been raising quiet concerns about morning drinking habits in adults over 70 for several years now. Studies conducted across senior populations in the United States, Japan, and Western Europe have consistently pointed to the same finding. What seniors consume in the first 60 minutes after waking has a disproportionately powerful effect on kidney function compared to any other time of day. This is because the kidneys are most vulnerable in the morning, when the body is dehydrated from sleep and working hardest to rebalance. The elders who understood this, who made small, deliberate changes to what they drank first thing in the morning, showed measurably better kidney health well into their 80s and 90s. And that is why what you are about to hear matters more than you realize. We will reach drink number 4 in just a few minutes, and I need you to pay very close attention when we do, because it is the one that surprises people the most, the one that almost every doctor says they wish their elderly patients had known sooner, and the one that most seniors are completely certain is harmless. Now we discuss 5 points. Point 1. The morning drink you have trusted your entire adult life may be the first thing working against your kidneys. After 70, coffee is deeply woven into the fabric of daily life for most people over 65. It is warmth, it is comfort, it is the smell that makes a house feel like a home in the early hours of the morning. And for most of your life it caused you no significant harm. But here is what changes at 70 that almost no one tells you clearly enough. Your kidneys at this age filter blood at roughly half the efficiency they did when you were 40. This condition, called reduced glomerular filtration, means that caffeine, a substance your kidneys must actively process and eliminate, now stays in your system far longer than it used to. It raises blood pressure inside the tiny blood vessels of the kidney, creates a subtle but consistent state of dehydration, and over months and years, contributes to the kind of quiet kidney decline that shows up on a blood test long before it shows up as symptoms. There was a man named Gerald, 73 years old, who had been drinking 3 cups of black coffee every morning since he was in his 30s. He was not a heavy drinker. He exercised. He ate reasonably well. When his doctor ran a routine blood panel at his annual checkup, his creatinine levels, the marker that reveals how hard the kidneys are working, had climbed significantly over just 2 years. His doctor asked him about his morning routine. Gerald told him about the coffee. His doctor was not surprised. Gerald switched to 1 cup, added a full glass of plain water before the coffee, and within 6 months his numbers had stabilized. 2 years of quiet damage, partially reversed by one small morning change. The lesson here is not that coffee will destroy you. The lesson is that what was harmless at 50 may not be harmless at 73. Your kidneys have earned the right to be treated differently now, and the first step is simply knowing that the rules have changed. Before we continue, I want you to sit with something for a moment. Think about the last time you had your kidney function checked. Not your blood pressure, not your cholesterol, your kidneys specifically. If you cannot remember, that is not a judgment. It is simply a sign of how quietly this organ does its work, and how rarely we think about it until something goes wrong. Point 2. The drink that most seniors believe is the healthiest choice of their morning may be quietly raising their kidneys' workload to a dangerous level. Orange juice, freshly squeezed, store-bought, or from concentrate, sits on the breakfast tables of millions of seniors every single morning. It feels virtuous. It feels like the right choice. It is associated with health, with vitamins, with doing something good for yourself first thing in the day. But for adults over 70, particularly those who have any degree of reduced kidney function, which according to the National Kidney Foundation includes more than 50% of adults over the age of 70, orange juice carries a hidden danger that has nothing to do with sugar. It carries potassium. A single 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains approximately 470 milligrams of potassium. Healthy kidneys at younger ages manage potassium effectively. But aging kidneys that are already working at reduced capacity struggle to eliminate excess potassium from the blood. When potassium builds up, a condition called hyperkalemia, it does not announce itself with obvious pain. It begins as fatigue, then muscle weakness. Then, in more serious cases, it disrupts the electrical signals that regulate the heartbeat. There was a woman named Dorothy, 77 years old, who was admitted to the hospital with an irregular heartbeat that her cardiologist initially could not explain. She was not on medications associated with potassium buildup. She had no prior heart conditions. When a nurse asked her what she ate and drank each morning, Dorothy described her routine: 2 glasses of orange juice, a banana, and a cup of herbal tea made with tomato juice. Every single one of those items is high in potassium. Her kidneys, already quietly declined with age, had simply run out of capacity to keep up. No one had ever told Dorothy that her healthy morning routine had become a quiet burden on her kidneys. That is why I am telling you now. We have only covered the first 2 drinks, and already I can tell you, the ones still ahead are the ones that will genuinely surprise you. Most people have never heard what I am about to say about drink number 4. Stay with me. Point 3. There is a drink that millions of seniors add to their morning specifically to protect their health, and it is silently accelerating kidney damage in ways that will not appear on any obvious symptom for months. Protein shakes and meal replacement drinks have become enormously popular among seniors over the past decade, and for understandable reasons. They are marketed directly to older adults. They promise muscle preservation, energy, and nutrition in a convenient, easy-to-consume format. Many seniors drink them on the advice of well-meaning family members or even general practitioners who recommended more protein. But here is the critical piece of information that often gets left out of that conversation. For a kidney system already working at reduced capacity, high dietary protein, particularly the concentrated, rapidly absorbed protein in commercial shakes, creates what nephrologists call a high renal load. This simply means that the kidneys must work significantly harder to filter and eliminate the byproducts of protein metabolism, specifically a compound called urea. Robert was 71 years old and had recently retired. His son, concerned about his father losing muscle mass, encouraged him to start drinking a well-known commercial protein shake every morning. Robert followed the advice faithfully. For nearly a year he felt no different. He noticed nothing wrong, but at his next nephrology appointment, he had a mild pre-existing kidney condition his doctor monitored. His kidney function had declined measurably in a way that surprised even his doctor. When the protein shake was removed from his routine and replaced with whole food protein sources spread across the day, the decline slowed significantly. His nephrologist told him something that stayed with him. "Your kidneys are not machines. They are 71 years old, just like you. Treat them accordingly." Nobody is going to say this to your face. Not your children, not your neighbors, and sometimes not even your doctor during a 15-minute appointment. So I will say it here directly: the fact that something is sold in a pharmacy labeled as healthy and recommended by people who love you does not mean it is safe for your specific kidneys at your specific age. You deserve to know this. And knowing it is the first act of protecting yourself. Point 4. The morning drink that almost every senior over 70 considers completely harmless is one of the most consistently overlooked contributors to kidney stress in older adults. And most doctors never think to ask about it. Herbal tea. Specifically, green tea, black tea, chamomile, hibiscus, licorice root, and dozens of other varieties sold in health food stores and pharmacies as natural, gentle, and safe. The word herbal carries an almost unquestioned sense of safety for most people. It sounds soft, it sounds ancient and wise, it sounds like something your grandmother drank and lived to 90% on. But the reality of how certain herbal compounds interact with aging kidneys is something that the medical community is only beginning to understand and communicate clearly to elderly patients. Hibiscus tea, for example, widely sold as a blood pressure remedy and consumed by millions of seniors for exactly that purpose, contains compounds called oxalates that, when consumed regularly, can contribute to the formation of kidney stones and, in those with already compromised kidney function, create additional stress on the filtration system. Licorice root tea, consumed for digestive comfort by many elderly adults, has been directly linked in medical literature to a condition called pseudo-hyperaldosteronism, which disrupts the kidney's ability to regulate sodium and potassium, sometimes with serious consequences for blood pressure and heart rhythm. Green tea, often celebrated as the healthiest beverage in the world, contains compounds that can interfere with certain blood pressure and heart medications that a large percentage of adults over 70 take daily. There was a woman named Evelyn, 74 years old, who had been drinking 4 cups of green tea every morning for 3 years after reading that it would help her heart. Her cardiologist discovered that the tea was interacting with her blood thinner in a way that was reducing its effectiveness. She had no idea. She thought she was doing everything right. The lesson Evelyn learned, and the one I want to leave you with here, is this: natural does not always mean safe for kidneys that are 70 years old. The conversation with your doctor about what you drink in the morning is one of the most important conversations you may not yet have had. If you have stayed with me this far, I want you to know the next 2 points were the reason I made this video. Not to frighten you, but because what comes next is something your doctor may never have had time to tell you in a 15-minute appointment. You deserve to hear it. Point 5. The final morning drink on this list is one that no one suspects. Because it looks like water, it is sold as hydration, and seniors drink it specifically because they believe it is the kindest thing they can give their aging bodies. Vitamin water, enhanced water, electrolyte drinks and sports hydration beverages have flooded the market in recent years, and many seniors have embraced them as a smarter, more beneficial alternative to plain water. They are clear, they look clean, and they promise to replenish what the body needs. But inside each bottle is a carefully measured combination of synthetic vitamins, artificial sweeteners, or added sugars, sodium, and in many cases, high doses of vitamin C and B vitamins that were formulated for the metabolism of a 25-year-old athlete, not for the kidney system of a 75-year-old adult managing their health on multiple medications. Excess vitamin C, consumed regularly at the doses found in many enhanced water products, is converted by the body into oxalate, which the kidneys must then filter and excrete. In aging kidneys that are already working at reduced capacity, this creates a compounding daily stress that accumulates invisibly over time. Excess synthetic B vitamins, while water-soluble, still require kidney processing and can, in high repeated doses, contribute to what researchers describe as subclinical kidney burden. damage that does not trigger obvious symptoms but that shows up quietly in blood work as declining function. There was a man named Arthur, 79 years old, who had replaced his morning glass of plain water with an electrolyte drink 18 months earlier because his daughter had told him it would keep him hydrated and healthy. His next 2 kidney function tests both showed decline. His nephrologist asked him one simple question: "What do you drink first thing in the morning?" Arthur told him. The answer was on the shelf of every pharmacy in his town, sold beside the vitamins and the cough medicine, looking for all the world like something designed to help him. The most dangerous health mistakes in old age are never the obvious ones. They are always the ones dressed up as wisdom. If you have stayed with me this far, and I am glad you have, what comes next is not another warning. What comes next is the part that matters most. What you can actually do starting tomorrow morning to give your kidneys the care they have quietly deserved for years. Deep reflection segment. Think for a moment about everything your kidneys have done for you without a single word of complaint. For 70 years or more, they have filtered your blood approximately 40 times every single hour of every single day. While you were raising children, while you were working, while you were worrying about things that no longer matter and celebrating things you will never forget, they were there, silent and faithful, asking for nothing, giving everything. You never had to think about them. And perhaps that is exactly why we never do. There is something about reaching the age of 70 that changes the relationship between a person and their body. The body begins to speak in a language that is quieter and more patient than pain. It speaks in tiredness that sleep does not fix. It speaks in small changes that seem too minor to mention at a doctor's appointment. It speaks in mornings that feel heavier than they used to. And most of us, trained by a lifetime of getting on with things, do not always listen until the message becomes impossible to ignore. Time passes in a way that feels both slow and sudden at this age. You look back and see how much has already gone, and you look forward and understand, perhaps more clearly than ever before, that what remains is precious in a way that younger years never quite taught you. This is not a warning meant to frighten you. It is an invitation to look at the small, daily choices that your body depends on, with the same care and attention that a person who loves their life would give them. Because you have earned that. Because your body has earned that. Because 70 years of faithfulness deserves to be honored in the quiet, ordinary moments of a morning, including the first thing you choose to put in a glass. Empowerment shift. Here is what the elders who live well past 80 understand that most people do not. Protecting your health at this age is not about dramatic changes or impossible discipline. It is about small, informed decisions made with awareness. It begins with something as simple as a glass of plain, room-temperature water, nothing added, nothing enhanced, before anything else in the morning. Not because it is magic, but because it is what dehydrated kidneys after 7 or 8 hours of sleep actually need most. It is the one thing that costs almost nothing and asks almost nothing, and yet gives your kidneys the gentle, immediate support they cannot ask you for themselves. After that first glass of water, the conversation becomes about reducing, not eliminating, but reducing the morning habits that create unnecessary burden. 1 cup of coffee instead of 3. A small portion of fruit instead of a full glass of juice. Real food protein instead of concentrated shake protein. Plain water instead of enhanced water products. Herbal teas chosen with awareness of your specific medications and kidney health. None of these changes require perfection. None of them require you to give up everything you enjoy. They only require the awareness that after 70, your body is not the same body it was at 50. And that is not a tragedy. It is simply the truth. And the truth, once you know it, gives you something that fear never can, a choice. We are almost at the end, and what I want to leave you with, the final words of this video, are not another warning. They are something quieter than that. Something I think you need to hear today. Stay with me just a little longer. Final closing. When this video began, I told you that the drinks doing the most damage were probably the ones you trusted the most. The ones sitting on your kitchen counter right now. The ones you reach for every morning without a second thought, in the quiet ritual that belongs entirely to you. I want you to know that I did not say that to take something from you. I said it because that small, familiar moment, that first drink of the morning in your kitchen, in your chair at your window, deserves to be one that serves you, one that honors the 70 years your body has carried you through, one that gives back even a little of what you have always given it. Your kidneys have been silent for a long time. They have never asked for recognition, never demanded your attention, never once interrupted a single day of your life with complaint. The least we can do, the very least, is to give them one thoughtful moment each morning, one conscious choice, one small act of loyalty returned after a lifetime of loyalty given. That is not a burden, that is love, the quiet daily kind that nobody sees, but that your body will feel in the years ahead. And those years matter. Every single one of them matters. Take care of yourself, because time never waits. Call to action. If something in this video touched you, if it made you think about a habit you have carried for years without questioning, share it with someone you care about today, an older parent, a neighbor, a friend who starts every morning the same way you do. And if you would like to continue this conversation, there is another video waiting for you that speaks to the silent warning signs your kidneys are already sending, signs that most seniors mistake for normal aging. I will see you there.